non, tu te retrouves pas dans cette situation par hasard. Bon, il tombe à quelle heure le verdict? Ouais. Ouais, ouais. Ok. Non, non, mais laisse tomber. Non, 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 non. Moi, je pense pas, il y a trop de trucs bizarres dans sa version. Mais non, il est coupable. Bah, évidemment. Attends, tu quittes pas, j'ai un double appel. Hein.
I really enjoyed Guilty. I thought that the editing and the music worked great to sort of work in this feeling of paranoia throughout the film. I love that we saw this main character's imaginings of the worst thing that could happen to him, and to see that eventually come to fruition and his worst fears coming true sort of worked as a foreshadowing for his story, which I thought was cool. Overall, I think the acting was amazing. I could really feel the panic from these two characters and the just the anger and the fear from them both. I loved the twist ending and how he's seen on TV in this live taping after he's just committed murder, and I liked how we as the audience find out through flashbacks that he actually did commit the murder and didn't get away with it by just kissing the girl. So overall, I thought this was a great film. I loved the editing especially. I thought stood out to me the most, especially with the use of the flashbacks and the imaginings seen visually. I thought that was a great way to add that paranoia to this film. So overall, I really enjoyed it.
So yeah, really interesting thriller here, you know. It was interesting. You're wondering where this is going to go. It starts off so kind of just mundane. This guy home alone and his friend comes over and there's murder suddenly. Yeah, so it's interesting to see, you know, kind of such a complex story being told like this with just a handful of characters in a couple of different locations. So nice job there. You know, there was a lot of twists and turns. You didn't know where it was going to go, where it was going to end up. Very ironic note there at the end, guilty or not, and he's on live television, so that was pretty cool. Good moment there. Good ending. Good ending for it. But yeah, all the actors did a great job. It was nicely shot, nicely directed, good score, really good spooky tone to the whole thing. So yeah, great job. So yeah, excellent work on this. Hope it gets out there and gets seen.
Guilty is a very beguiling film. I think when when it starts, it's kind of a simple story of one man convincing the land to help him dispose of a body, and I think it then slowly evolves into something a lot more complex. The early scenes are marked by a very strong sense of tension. It's evoked through kind of terse dialogue and good performance, and a great sense of visual confinement, which kind of helps you feel the weight of guilt and a kind of inescapability of the situation they find themselves in. And then it's those particular forces that then seem to kind of shatter reality in the later sections. I think those sequences sort of mess around with reality are like startlingly put together. Great use of direction, of editing, of lighting, of music. Really puts you into the kind of psychological frame of mind of these kind of conflicts and the kind of turmoils of this main character. So I think it's really great expressive filmmaking. And then when it reaches its violent conclusion, you're kind of left adrift. You don't quite know how to feel. There's almost a sense of disconnect and sympathy that kind of distances you from the horror of it a little bit. So I just think it's really not afraid to dive into ambiguity and complexity, and it relishes in the kind of expressive approach to filmmaking, which is really cool.
This film is called Guilty. This is a creepy yet effective short. A man is caught up in a murder by another. The storyline is excellent as the lead gets more and more frightened and desperate. Awesome performance. The basement cellar shots were perfect, eerie and claustrophobic. I love the music soundtrack with lots of discordant percussion and ominous clanging sounds. I would love to see more of this story in a feature. Well done, Guilty. Check it out.
This was really great. Great writing for starters. The way it starts, the way we get it rolling, and the way our lead gets pulled into things, and then finally at the end, just really that was beautiful. The performances were fantastic as well, just really strong, visceral performances. Just great sort of chemistry between our players. They just do a great job at telling the story and just drawing us in through their performances. Really, really strong. The cinematography was also fantastic too. And of course, coupled with just really strong direction and editing, just really all helped tell the story, which again was a really great story. I thoroughly enjoyed this piece.
Guilty. I loved this. I found myself wanting to take in every moment that was served to me. If I missed even a slight beat, I found myself rewinding back to catch it. I found myself giving Guilt a rewatch, even. The first time I watched, I found myself delivering a voice note when we discovered the body in the cellar, and the loud gasp of discovery of the mess of this comrade has put our detective in. I like how we follow this detective to grab the tape and see the possibility of the outcome of the scenario play in his mind. The camera work and editing pairs really well with the detective's mind as he shapes the crime together in his mind. It's as if we're getting a glimpse of where his mind is, and then we see the truth of the fallout take place. One that ends with our detective looking out for himself. And this televised news sequence, I love that we find him trying to play business as usual, but you can see the pure guilt on his face after walking away from what we had just witnessed in the previous scene. A thought crossed my mind on, if you're helping hide the body, are you just as guilty? Will you go to grand lengths to bury a body for a so-called friend? What lengths will you go to get out of an ill-expected situation? Bravo, this was insanely well done.